all the forecasters and people predicting what the market is going to do are guessing.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. I'm going to go as far to say is that they are full of shit.
Hang on, is this because they don't have the investments themselves, or is this because they like the airtime? Why do you think they're full of shit? Like, what is this coming from?
Yeah, so something I really had to look deeply at under the hood of myself is there was a lot of people out there making predictions and I was treating them as fact. So someone comes out, and I'm not going to name any one source here because it's all of them, but they would come out and go, okay, well, this is what we think is going to happen in the next 12 months. And like think is the key word there. It's not this is we are certain on what's going to happen in the next 12 months. And do you know what? I will fire a shot. The RBA is not going to raise interest rates until 2024. Yep. They came out and said that, and this is a government institution, highly respected source of truth, and I would take on these things as fact. And I really recognize that that is a fallacy. Like they're all crystal balling, and it doesn't matter if it's the RBA, governments, the banks, the big banks was another one, commentators and people in the media, all of these people making these guesses. You have to be so incredibly careful what you're taking on as fact, because economics and the economies and how markets work is just so heavily complicated that there only has to be one little thing we don't understand and the world can change in a huge way. And it did. So for me, it's really doing a better job of filtering information and separating the idea of what is fact versus what is an opinion.
The thing that challenged me quite a lot was that if you make enough predictions, at some point something's going to be right, and then they tout that one time that they were right, like over and over again, which is like now you need to listen to me because last 5 times ago I was right. Just ignored the last 4, and I'm going to go right again. And so that's caught me out as well, because I'm looking for this bias of, well, they must know something more than me because at some point they got it right. The other ones, there were reasons why they didn't get it right because things changed. And so even I caught myself out on this. This is a great one, but it's not. The challenge that I've had was the balancing between picking out the things that they say that have reason or have some kind of insight to it, and then like cutting out their opinion. It's like that is a very valid reference or piece of data. You might have interpreted it to suit your narrative, or you might have interpreted it because you don't understand what it's got. Like there are other things that I've used of just going, okay, cool, thanks for that help. I'll put it into my own brain and start making it work. Is that sort of where you kind of felt? Like, was there anything that you applied on top of this? Like, did you stop consuming it? Did you just sort of interpret what they were saying slightly differently?
Yeah, so I'll use an example here. So let's stick with the RBA one because I think they're unlikely to listen to this show, but I hope Rob Lowe does tune in. He could use my help.
Hey, Rob. Lowe.
So, for example, he suggested that rates wouldn't go up till 2024. That's an opinion, right? But then the government says 200,000 people coming into the country. That's a fact. Like they've got plans and measures to take that in place. So I think you have to be really careful of separating the two, because it's very, very easy to confuse that into one narrative. See, but one is an opinion and one is, and again, there could be things that happen where that may or may not happen with the population growth. But when you get a policy like that with what you see around the world, well, that's something you can form better views on. So that's not guessing in the same light. So you've got to really be able to define those ones from there. Another one is like building approvals. So if building approvals aren't happening, houses aren't getting built. So in this example, and this is not financial advice, or I'm not even saying this is true because I don't know if these things are going to happen. This is speculation, opinion, right? Lesson from here. If 200,000 people are coming into the country and building approvals are down, they're not building houses at a rate they should be to support that, and we already have an undersupply of housing, well, that's now something you can build a better investment thesis around if you're potentially interested in property, not for everyone, not for financial advice. But building a thesis around rates aren't going to go up and we think, this hotspot is going to be the next thing. Opinions. Totally. So incredibly dangerous. So I obviously got burnt a little bit on here, but I will say I also got lucky because I was potentially gearing up to make some more weighted investments, and only through being delayed through having to refinance and doing other things is we didn't end up laying it on as hard as I would have. So incredibly powerful to learn in that way. And I will reference that one of the resources that helped me the most in this was Howard Marks. So Howard Marks is his investing thesis is not to make predictions, but to play the environment based on what it is. And there's some fantastic resources online from him. I think it's called The Most Important Thing. Is that the name of the book? I think it is.
I think it's the most important thing.
Yeah, but it was reading that in conjunction to like what was happening with my own year in investing really summed it up for me. And like that's where I'm going to be really like what's changed to me is that's what I'm bringing into my investments today. So when we're looking at something, what is fact, what is opinion, layering that in on the environment today to make a better decision around that. So powerful upgrade for me, I feel.
I've actually found it so interesting. People like Howard Marks, when others interview him and they say, well, what do you think's going to happen? Like the first sentence he says is like I just don't forecast. Like it's just like, I just don't know what's going to happen. He's like, so it's pointless me saying anything because people might make decisions on it. And he's like, but this is what I can see right now. And that was so profound. It was like, why? And through what you've just shared, like it's so obvious. Why? It's just give me the facts as to right now because that's the best way I can make a decision. Hey, fellow business owner, if this topic and value-packed short video has resonated with you at all and you want to dive deeper into creating wealth inside and outside your business, check out the full episode by clicking the link on your screen or in the description right now.